We got the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid. He made his way back, and so did the 76ers, kind of.
Right.
Just a little bit. They won the 2 games, and he came back. And last game, it seemed like he really was in his feelings about not winning the MVP. She says that's not what it was. But, I mean, the dude is coming off of a concussion, got hit in his face again, wearing his mask. He's got Jimmy Butler trolling him. So, I mean, after rolling, like, just rallying back, can Doc Rivers actually rally his team to push a Game 7 in this series?
No, absolutely not. As much as I want to believe and as much as I want to trust this process that we've been seeing, get built in Philadelphia, we saw it. We've seen what Doc Rivers has been specifically. If we want to talk about Doc, we've seen what he's been in the biggest moments of his career when he's needed to win up 3-1. Not blow something or force a Game 7 when you're up 3-0. We've seen it time and time again. But as much as we can talk about Doc right here, I think you really got to take a look at how James Harden is not really adjusting well. I get it. They're, 21-12 overall with James Harden in the lineup. But, the front office, we're going to ship out our number 1 pick in Ben Simmons because he's lost his mind against Atlanta. We're going to bring in James Harden. We're finally going to give Joel Embiid that number 2 piece. But it's not necessarily following through. And this pisses you off. You don't want to see a Joel Embiid a lot like the Atlanta Hawks. You don't want to see a Joel Embiid who just averaged 30.6 points per game as the center on his team. The big man's back. Okay, the last 4 MVPs have all went to big man. And he is arguably one of the best, if not the best, big man in the game right now. I mean, we saw what he did with averaging over 30 points a game. But you don't want to not have someone that can actually compliment him and buy in on him. Let's look at some of these numbers from James Harden. And just real quick, Fees, I don't think it's about the MVP. I think as busted as the voting might have been for when Giannis won the second one, I did think it was LeBron's, but Giannis won it. Now, when Jokic won, I thought it was Jokic's as well. Could have had some Embiid in there, but this year, I think it was clear, and a lot of people can agree that Embiid should have had it, but I think he knew a while ago. Why is he going to sit and really kind of harbor all of this in his mind when he knows that he's not going to get this? And where's the MVP right now? Oh, he's at home watching the games while Joel is out here with a broken face, with a concussion. He can't do it all by himself. They're 6-10 overall this season without him, so they clearly live and die by him. And you look at the fact that James Harden, did I lose my notes? Hell, I think I did. But James Harden has not scored over 30 points, but twice in the 33 games that he's been there, and only 1 time in the postseason. He's hardly cracking 20 when he's doing his best. He's shooting horribly. What's going on? What's happening, Philadelphia? Where is this process that we were talking about? I'm definitely not feeling it. And I mean, looking at the game the other day, they didn't even shoot 30 shots combined. They were scared. Joel took 1 3. Harden was horrible. I mean, I don't want to keep amping it on for this team, but it's not looking pretty. I just have to say that it's not looking pretty for Philly right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see any way they can turn it around. I mean, James Harden gave us one little shade of the old James in 1 game.
Exactly.
And then reverted back to this nonsense shell of himself that apparently that's what he is now. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a player decline so quickly. There was no injury to be cited. He just went out there and was like, all right, I'm just a point guard now.
Right.
He's a facilitator.
Right.
A max player facilitator. I mean, if James could give him an actual normal, like what we expect to see out of James Harden, then the Philadelphia 76ers could easily take this series because they have the pieces. James just ain't showing up.
Yep.
I mean, Embiid is not going to be able to just carry them every night, especially coming off of what is happening between his face and the concussions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too much, and I really just can't blame Doc Rivers for this. He got this, like, the team is here, and the team is failing him.
Yep.
Like, it's not Doc Rivers' fault that James Harden's just faded into oblivion like this.
Right. And I mean, when you talk about the fact that Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey are literally becoming the best players in this series, that's not a recipe for success against Philly. Again, didn't you bring in Harden to be this offensive threat, to complete that, to go to the process and win the chip? Giannis is accelerating. Jokic is accelerating. And again, I don't think it's about the MVP, but I do think Embiid's patience is growing very thin. He already had words about Simmons last year after the Atlanta series. We saw the body language. This is really on the front office if this doesn't work out, in my opinion. Seriously. Just saying.
I can't even blame the front office. No one could have told you that James Harden was going to disappear. It seemed like a great move. You didn't see this in Brooklyn before he got there. I said Kobe
with
said
Harden
he'd never get a ring.
Well, one of the greatest players, and according to Triple F, the greatest player of all time, has spoken. Kobe said Harden wouldn't get one. But again, talking about Harden, there's been a lot of benefit of the doubt with him. Oh, was it really Harden? Oh, was it just Chris Paul? Oh, was it just Russell Westbrook? Oh, was it Kevin Durant? Let's take the wool off of our eyes and realize that James Harden, as far as he might have been in the past, they're 6-5 with him this postseason, okay? He's not being a difference maker. And the reason I say it's on the front office because call me crazy if you want, Harden wasn't scaring me in Brooklyn, okay? He really wasn't. I know he was playing well at times, but he never seems like he scared the other team off the floor, okay? And why would Philly automatically think, buying on a lot of has-been with Harden, that he's going to come forward and provide that? That's why I look at the front office. Because Embiid is the superstar, their timeline's getting thin, man. I know we got to move, but their timeline's getting thin. Seriously.
I mean, just with Harden's just like exponential aging that just happened right before our eyes, you can't blame the front office for that. Just because, I mean, you can't even attach what happened in the past to what he's doing now because he wasn't a shell of himself then.
Right.
If they got that Harden that we talked about that played with Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant,
right,
then they would be winning. Like they might have swept Miami if they had that Harden.
I don't know, man. It's tough. There's a lot around Doc. There's a lot around Joel. There's a lot around James, and it's all pivotal moments for these three guys. Whether it's all pivotal. It's all pivotal for them.